What if the person you trusted the most held the power to destroy you with just a single click? Did you hear? They found a scarf by the river, but there was no body. The news spread like wildfire through Olutunji. The small red scarf floating gently on the surface of the water. Aderonke's scarf. She must have drowned. Hey, yeah, poor girl. She could not bear the shame. But while the town mourned, Ikenna walked through the streets like a king. She was always too proud, he would say, shaking his head. Now the town is at peace. His rich parents, Chief Okoye and Madam Adaura, held their heads high. Our son is innocent, Chief Okoye boasted. That girl wanted more than she deserved. Madam Adaura sneered, her voice dripping with disdain. But at night, people swore they saw movements in the darkness. Aderonke and Ikenna were the talk of Olutunji town. People said they were the perfect couple. Ikenna was rich, handsome, and powerful. Aderonke was kind, beautiful, and gentle. When they walked through the market, people would smile and say, "Look at them. They are so perfect together." But things were not as perfect as they seemed. At first, Ikenna was sweet. He would call her every night. "I miss you," he would say. "I can't sleep without hearing your voice." But as time goes by, he always wanted to know where she was. "Where are you? Who are you with? Why did you not pick my call?" Sometimes he would talk bad about the girls he dated before. "They were not like you," he said. "They lied. They cheated. They did not respect me." Aderonke felt lucky. She thought she was special. At first, Aderonke thought it was love. She thought it was just caring. But then, things began to change. If she wore a new dress, Ikenna would frown. "That dress is too bright for you," he would say. "Why are you trying to show off?" If she smiled too much, he would say, "Why are you laughing so loud? Are you trying to get attention?" Aderonke would feel small. She would look down and whisper, "I am sorry." Aderonke's only family was her grandmother, Mama Ajoke. Mama Ajoke was old and wise. She always told Aderonke, "Kindness is stronger than money, my child. Never forget that." After the death of Aderonke's parents, they lived together in a small mud house. It was tiny, but it was full of love. But one rainy night, Mama Ajoke felt very sick. Aderonke held her hand and cried. "Don't leave me, Mama," she whispered. Mama Ajoke smiled weakly. "I am not leaving, my child. I am just going to rest," she said softly. She took off her bead necklace and placed it around Aderonke's neck. "This will protect you," she whispered. "When the world gets dark, hold it tight and remember my prayers." And that night, Mama Ajoke closed her eyes and went to sleep forever. Aderonke cried for days, holding the bead close to her heart. Mama Ajoke was gone, and now she was alone. Ikenna became even more controlling after Mama Ajoke passed away. He would visit Aderonke's house often. "Why are you talking to that man at the market?" Aderonke would shake her head. "He is just a trader," she would say softly. But Ikenna would frown and say, "You belong to me. You should not be smiling at other men." One evening, Ikenna called her. "Send me your picture," he said sweetly. "I miss your smile. Just one picture, please." Aderonke hesitated. "Are you sure?" "Just for you," she asked. "I promise," Ikenna said, his voice soft and gentle. So she sent him a simple selfie, just her smiling. Ikenna replied with heart and sweet words. But after that, Ikenna kept asking for more. "I want to see more of you," he would say. "Just for me, I promise. I miss you." At first, she refused, but Ikenna became very angry. "Don't you trust me?" he asked. "I love you. Couples do this all the time." Aderonke wanted to make him happy. She wanted to trust him, so she sent him more pictures. One evening, Ikenna called her on video call. He smiled and told her she was beautiful. "I miss you," he whispered. "Show me more, just for me." Aderonke was shy, but he kept begging and begging. He promised it would stay between them. "It is just us," he said. "No one will ever know." Aderonke trusted him, but what she did not know was that Ikenna was recording the call. His phone was hidden behind all his books, capturing everything. He smiled as he watched, his eyes glimmering with power. Aderonke thought it was love. Ikenna saw it as power. One day, Aderonke gathered courage. She wanted to end things. She did not want to be his girlfriend anymore. Aderonke walked to Ikenna's house with her heart beating fast. When she got there, Ikenna was sitting under the mango tree, smiling like nothing was wrong. She took a deep breath and said, "It is over, Ikenna. I don't want to be with you anymore." Ikenna just smiled. His eyes were cold, but his lips still smiled. "That is fine," he said softly. Aderonke was surprised. She thought he would get angry, but he did not. He just watched her walk away. But when she was far from his house, Ikenna whispered to himself, "Nobody leaves me. Nobody embarrasses me." His smile faded. His eyes grew dark. 3 days later, everything changed. Aderonke woke up to whispers and stares. When she walked to the market, people pointed at her. They whispered behind their hands. Some even laughed. Her phone buzzed non-stop. She picked it up and saw her pictures everywhere. Her private pictures. The ones she only sent to Ikenna. The ones she trusted him with. Her heart dropped. Her hands shook. She could not breathe. When she walked through the market, people turned away. The woman who used to smile at her looked down. Even the old men who sold yam looked away. "Did you see how shameful that is?" They whispered. "I did not know she was like that too." Aderonke felt like the world was closing in on her. She tried to smile, but her lips would not move. Her hands trembled as she clutched her basket. Aderonke walked to the police station. Her legs were heavy. Her eyes were red from crying. She pushed the big metal door and walked inside. She waited for hours. Nobody spoke to her. The officers laughed and drank tea, not even looking her way. Finally, she was called to the front. A big man with tired eyes asked her, "What do you want?" Aderonke's voice shook. "I need help. My private pictures, someone posted them, and I know who did it." The man looked at her with no expression. He took a long sip of his tea and said, "Do you have proof?" Aderonke shook her head. "I know it is him. I know his name. His name is Ikenna," she cried. The man leaned back in his chair. "Without proof, there is nothing we can do. Go home." Aderonke stood there, frozen. "But I need help, please," she whispered. The man shrugged. "Go home, girl. You can't fight money." Aderonke walked out of the police station. Her fist clenched. Her eyes burned with tears. "They don't care. Nobody will help me." But something else grew inside her. Anger. Fire. She went home and changed into a buba and wrapper. She put on her grandma's bead and hid her phone. The market was busy. Men laughed loudly as they carried heavy sacks. But Aderonke moved through the crowd silently. Her eyes set with purpose. Her feet kicked up dust as she marched straight towards Ikenna's father's compound. Whispers followed her as she walked. Where is she going? Did you hear what happened? That girl must be mad. But Aderonke did not turn back. She pushed through the wooden gate and entered the large compound, where Ikenna always sits like a king. There he was, sitting under the mango tree, legs crossed. He looked up as she approached, his smile growing wider. "I was wondering when you would come," he called out, voice dripping with arrogance. Aderonke stopped just a few feet away from him, her heart beating fast, but her eyes were sharp. Inside her wrapper near her waist, her old phone was hidden. The camera was on. It was recording everything. She did not shake. She did not cry. She clenched them into fists. "Why did you do it, Ikenna?" she asked, her voice stronger than she expected. Ikenna chuckled, sipping his drink slowly. "Do what, my dear?" he asked with a smirk, wiping his mouth. Aderonke took a shaky breath. "Why did you shame me? Why did you leak my pictures?" Ikenna leaned back against the tree, his eyes filled with amusement. "You think you're special, huh?" he sneered, his voice dripping with mockery. "You, an orphan girl with nothing but a few torn clothes and a dead woman's prayer?" Her fist clenched tighter, but she did not back away. She needed him to talk. Ikenna stood up slowly, towering over her. He took a step closer, his breath warm against her face. "Girls like you," he whispered, "should be grateful when someone like me even looks at you." Aderonke swallowed hard. "You did this because I left you," she said firmly. Ikenna laughed, the sound cruel and sharp. "Yes, I leaked your private pictures because nobody leaves me," he said coldly. "You thought you could just walk away. You thought I would not teach you a lesson." Aderonke's hand shook. but she held her ground. Ikenna stepped back, grinning proudly. I made you important, Aderonke. I made people notice you. You should be thanking me, not accuse me. She took a step forward, her eyes burning with anger. You ruined my life, she shouted. Ikenna simply laughed louder, brushing the dust off his sleeves. Your life? He scoffed. Your life was nothing before me. Aderonke's eyes filled with tears, but she refused to let them fall. One day you will pay for this, she whispered. Ikenna's grin only grew wider. And who will make me pay? You? He pointed a finger to her chest. An orphan girl with no power, no voice. Be careful, Aderonke. Next time, know your place. Maybe, just maybe, the world will not hit you alive. He turned his back on her, laughing as if she were nothing more than dust on his shoes. Aderonke walked away with heaviness in her chest. One morning, the market was quiet. The rain poured, thunder roared, but Aderonke was missing. Immediately the villagers noticed. People searched and searched, but all they found was a scarf floating by the river. Hey, yeah, she could not bear the shame. Poor girl. She must have ended it all, they said. They held a small funeral, but there was nobody, only the whispers of her name. While the town mourned, Chief Okoye and Madam Adaora stood proudly on the steps of their grand mansion. Chief Okoye and Madam Adaora held their heads high. That girl is trouble, Madam Adaora scoffed. Our son is innocent. She always wanted more than she deserved. Chief Okoye added, shaking his head. Ikenna appeared at the doorway, dressed in fine clothes, smiling as if nothing had happened. He looked down at the crowd, his eyes gleaming with confidence. Aderonke ran away because of her shame, he declared loudly. I had nothing to do with it. The crowd murmured, some nodding in agreement, others shaking their heads in disbelief, but the whispers continued. That night, the rain returned, soft and gentle, whispering against the windows of Ikenna's grand home. He sat by his window, sipping wine and laughing with friends who came to celebrate his new rise in his political ambition. His campaign for police commissioner of Olutunji. Imagine it, Ikenna, commissioner of police. One of his friends shouted, slapping Ikenna on the back. Ikenna raised his glass. To power and respect, he said with a smirk. They clinked their glasses, the laughter echoing through the grand halls. Every night, shadows seemed to move outside his window. Every night, he would wake up to the sound of the whispers. If she is truly gone, why does he still feel her eyes watching him? Despite the whispers, Ikenna's star continued to rise. His parents hosted lavish parties, inviting political leaders and community elders. My son is going to be the youngest police commissioner in Olutunji's history, Chief Okoye boasted. It will bring order and power, Madam Adaora added, smiling proudly. They sponsored rallies, gave out money, and held charity events to clear their family name. Ikenna stood in front of crowds, his voice booming with confidence. Olutunji will be greater than ever, he shouted, and the people cheered. But strange things began to happen. Posters of Ikenna were torn down at night, shredded to pieces. Snakes were found coiled around his campaign stage, easing silently. The elders warned his parents. The land is angry, they said, their voices trembling. But Madam Adaora scoffed. They are just jealous. My son is destined for greatness. The D-Day of the final rally came. The marketplace was empty. Everyone had gone to the grand rally. Drummers pounded rhythms. Ikenna's face looked proud. His name was on every banner. At the very front of the ground stage sat Chief Okoye and Madam Adaora, Ikenna's parents. They were dressed in their finest clothes, gold-threaded agbada for Chief Okoye and a shimmering wrapper for Madam Adaora. People gathered around them, shaking their hands and offering praise. Your son is a blessing to this town. It will lead us to greatness. You must be so proud. Madam Adaora smiled graciously, her head held high. We are simply raising him to be the leader he was born to be, she replied smoothly. Chief Okoye nodded firmly. The crowd cheered as Ikenna stepped onto the stage, waving grandly to the people. His agbada flowed like royalty, and his smile was wide and confident. His parents clapped the loudest, their eyes shining with pride. Ikenna grabbed the microphone, his voice booming through the speakers. Today marks a new beginning for Oluntuji, he shouted. The crowd roared. I promise you growth. I promise you prosperity. Together we will rise to the top. His parents clapped again, nodding proudly. But then, something strange happened. The giant screen behind him flickered. At first, just a flash, then another. And then, Ikenna's voice came through the speakers, but it was not speaking. I've ruined your life, Aderonke. The voice was clear. The crowd grew silent. Ikenna froze, his hand still gripping the microphone. He turned to look at the screen, his eyes wide with confusion. His mother stood up, waving her hands. It's a trick! Someone is playing tricks, she shouted. Chief Okoye stood as well, his voice booming. This is slander! Shut it off! But the screen kept playing. I leaked your naked pictures for the whole world to see. The crowd gasped. Madam Adaora put her hand over her mouth. This is impossible, she whispered. Suddenly, a young woman stepped forward from the crowd. Her hands were shaking, her eyes full of tears. I was one of them, she cried. The crowd turned to her, eyes wide with shock. He blackmailed me too. He uses my naked picture to threaten me to continue sleeping with him, she continued, her voice cracking. He took my pictures and threatened to ruin me. Another woman stepped forward. Me too! One by one, they came forward, their voices trembling but steady. They spoke of promises and threats. Love turned to blackmail, and dreams crushed under fear. Madam Adaora shook her head, her voice trembling. Lies! All of it! My son is a good boy. He would never... But the woman did not stop. They kept speaking. The truth poured out like water, unstoppable and pure. Chief Okoye tried to push through the crowd. Stop this madness right now. My son is innocent, he shouted. But no one listened. Ikenna stood frozen, his eyes darting around as the women's voices grew louder. His parents looked desperate. Madam Adaora screamed, This is not true. My son would never do this. But the crowd stared at her, their eyes full of disgust and disappointment. You defended the monster, one woman shouted. You called Aderonke a liar, another one added. Madam Adaora's knees shook, and she slumped back into her chair, her hands covering her face. No, not my Ikenna, she whispered. Chief Okoye's face turned pale, his hands dropping to his sides. He had always called Aderonke a troublemaker, always defended his son. But now, the truth was unfolding in front of his eyes, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. As the confession continued, the elders chant, Shame! Shame! As they walk away. From the shadows, the woman watched calmly, her scarf pulled low over her eyes, her hands clutching a beaded necklace. She smiled, soft and victorious. And then, from the far back of the crowd, she stepped forward. Her steps were slow and steady, as if she was in no hurry at all. Her head was wrapped in a scarf, and her eyes were hidden behind dark shades. She walked calmly, the people parting for her as if pulled by invisible strings. The whispers grew louder. Who is she? Where did she come from? Is she? Ikenna's eyes locked onto hers, and his hands trembled. His lips parted, but no sound came out. The woman stopped right in front of the stage, right where everyone could see her. Slowly, she removed her dark shades, and the crowd gasped. It was Aderonke. She stood tall, unbroken, stronger than they had ever seen her. Her eyes were sharp, steady, and full of purpose. The necklace her grandmother had given her, the one with the brown, red, and black beads, rested against her chest, gleaming in the sunlight. Ikenna took a step back, shaking his head. No, this is not possible. Chief Okoye shouted, This is witchcraft. This is a lie. Madam Adaora gripped her husband's arm, her voice cracking. It's not her. It's not her. But it was her. Aderonke had returned. The whispers began again, like the wind brushing through tall grass. People leaned in closer, eager to hear the truth. Aderonke looked around, her eyes meeting the faces of those who had whispered, who had judged, who had called her a liar. Her voice was calm but strong. You all thought I was dead, Aderonke began, her voice steady. But I was only beginning. After my shame went public, I returned to the station, but no one listened. I confronted him under the mango tree, He confessed everything. I was scared of his rich family, so I went to the river to end it all. Her hands were cold. She held her grandmother's bead necklace close to her chest. Her heart was full of pain. She had the recording. She had proof that Ikenna was the one who leaked her pictures. But she was scared. What if no one believes me? She whispered. What if his parents says I'm lying? They are rich and they are powerful, and I am just one girl. Her tears mixed with the rain. She took one step closer to the water. She took off her scarf and set it down. I want the pain to stop. Suddenly, she heard a soft voice behind her. My child, don't throw yourself away. She turned around quickly. An old man stood there. His face was kind. He held a small lantern. Who are you? Aderonke asked, scared. The man walked closer. I am Pa Ajao. I knew your grandmother long ago. She once gave me food when I was hungry. Let me help you now. Aderonke dropped to her knees and cried, Ada. I have proof. I recorded him, but I don't know what to do. Everyone will choose a side. His family is big, and they are too strong. Pa Ajao knelt beside her. He touched her shoulder gently. You don't need to fight them now. You need to rest. When the time is right, we will show them the truth. You are not alone. Aderonke looked into his eyes. They were full of peace. She nodded slowly. Her hands stopped shaking. Pa Ajao helped her stand. They walked away from the river, quietly, slowly. But in Aderonke's heart, something had changed. She still had the proof, and now she had the plan. Aderonke did not die. She stayed quiet and hid in the bush. She listened to everything people said. They said Ikenna wanted to be a big man, but they also said he had hurt many girls. Aderonke wrote everything down. She found the girls he hurt. They told her the truth. She kept the story safe. Then she found someone who worked with Ikenna. That person helped her play the video on the day of his celebration. Now, Aderonke had all the proof, and she showed it to the world. She never forget the recording she hid that day, and that was her key. I came back, Aderonke said, eyes blazing, not just for me, but for all the girls he silenced. Chief Okoye shouted, lies! Mother Madaura screamed, he is innocent! But their voices drowned on the crowd's cheers. One by one, the girls stepped forward. For the first time, they were heard. Aderonke looked straight at Ikenna. You thought you buried me, but you only planted a seed. Ikenna collapsed to his knees, trembling. I did not deserve to disappear, she whispered, but you do. The boy handed her the phone she used under the mango tree. I told you, nobody silences me. Aderonke walked through the crowd, head held high. This time, the whispers were not of shame, but of respect and power. As Aderonke disappeared into the crowd, whispers spread quickly. Ikenna's secrets were no longer hidden. The police came for him the very next day. His father's business collapsed. People stopped trusting him. His mother could not bear the shame. She fell ill and moved far away. Everything they built turned to dust. Their houses were sold. Their cars taken away. Ikenna's friend abandoned him. He was left alone with nothing but his regrets. After fighting for justice, Aderonke moved to a new city to begin a new life. Meanwhile, the girls he hurt found peace. As she vanished into the distance, the question hung in the air. What would she do next? The lesson from the story is, don't trust someone too quickly and never stay silent when someone hurts you. Aderonke was hurt, but she did not give up. She spoke up and got justice. And for people like Ikenna, hurting others will always come back to you. No matter how high you rise, the truth will bring you down. If the story touched you, please like, share and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching. See you in the next story.